You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can join me on another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. Sorry about the blunder, but if you're listening on Spotify, please do yourself a favor. Go ahead and follow the podcast. If you're on the YouTube side of things, subscribe, comment, like, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Go to any of the social media links in the description box to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So I remember recently on a podcast I was telling you about the movie Mortal Kombat, and I can now tell you I have seen the movie Mortal Kombat. And, you know, you might label this a spoiler alert, but, you know, hopefully by now you've seen it. I want to say that I thought it was, you know, it was good. It wasn't nothing to write home to mom about, but I thought it was decent. You know, the beginning, 3 parts. The beginning was good. The ending was good. The middle was boring. Okay. I'm a simple guy. You know, like in the last movie, at least to me, the Mortal Kombat basically centers around the human characters, you know, of the movie. Like in this one, you have the new character in the movie I've never heard of before. I believe he's just a made-up guy. But outside of that, you have Sonya Blade and Jax, you know, when it comes to the real world. And as far as the Earth realm, at least. And if you remember, that's how it was in the first movie. It's just in this one, they add a guy. And look, it's basically an origin story. You know, I had no problem with the storyline because there was never a real tight coat storyline when it came to the video games. Now, look, I'm one that I grew up on Mortal Kombat. I remember taking quarters out of my mom's purse to go to the arcade to play Mortal Kombat because I didn't have a Sega Genesis growing up. I had a Super Nintendo, and when Mortal Kombat first came out, it wasn't on Super Nintendo. It ended up being on Super Nintendo later on, but when it first released, it was only on Sega Genesis, so I had to go to the arcades and play Mortal Kombat. I don't think arcades even exist anymore, but look, Sub-Zero was the man in this movie. And if you've played any of the Mortal Kombat games, you know Sub-Zero is the man as far as the other realm outside of Earth. You know, remember the game Mythologies, Sub-Zero Mythologies on PlayStation? You know, that kind of dives a little bit into Sub-Zero and Special Forces Mortal Kombat. You know, a lot of those games, both those games were considered to be very lackluster. I love those Mortal Kombat games, especially the Special Forces with Jax on the PlayStation. Now, look, I knew that was Scorpion fighting Sub-Zero in the beginning of the movie. I'm glad they kept that part where Scorpion doesn't really die. You know, he just comes from hell whenever he needs to. And, you know, a lot of the lesser characters got a lot of play in this movie, like Cabal, Kano, Kung Lao. You know, those are guys, people, they just don't play with. I don't care what anybody tells you. People aren't playing with those characters, especially Sonya Blade. I don't know anybody who has ever selected Sonya Blade a day in their life. But like I said, a lot of the lesser characters were in this game. It was cool to see Goro fighting, but kind of like what my brother said, he was disappointed that he kind of died so quick. He was one of the first ones to die. And I would have liked to have seen Goro fight in the second movie because, look, make no mistake, there is going to be a second one. And, you know, there's so many characters that weren't in this one. You know, they have the storyline now has so many ways they can go with it now. You know, so many characters like Cyrax, Septor, Sindel, Smoke, Nightwolf, Motaro, Shiva. Johnny Cage is definitely going to be in the second one. And you even have Weak Striker, who I couldn't stand. That's another character. I don't know who played with that guy. And I love the Special Forces reference from Sonya in the movie. But like I said, I thought Mortal Kombat was a great movie. I'm not going to ramble on with Mortal Kombat. Look, check it out. Do yourself a favor. If you're not doing anything, like me sometimes, go and check it out. I think you'll like the movie. Don't listen to what all the people are saying online, saying that the movie sucked. You can't please everybody. All right. So look, guys, I got a great show for you today. I want to talk about, has Andrew Wiggins failed in Golden State? Now, the Warriors, at the time that I'm doing the podcast, they sit at 33-32. They are in the 9th seed in the West, and they are in play for the newly played format in the playoffs, the play-in format, which LeBron James kind of agrees with me, but I have a certain way I feel about how LeBron feels about the play-in tournament. I'll have that, how I feel about that on another podcast, but I digress. Now, I will tell you that sometimes I think that Andrew Wiggins gets the short end of the stick because, I talk about him to some of the guys that I talk to about sports, and they're like, Andrew who? And, they know who he is, but they just don't think he's made that much of an impact since he's been in the league. But the problem is, look, chances are you've never seen Andrew Wiggins play for real. He was drafted by Cleveland when they were horrible, right before LeBron came back. Well, I believe that year he was coming back in the offseason, and he told Cleveland, look, you guys need to trade him for Kevin Love. And because he played for a horrible T-Wolves team, you didn't see him play, And then now he's with a depleted Warriors team that is missing Klay Thompson. You haven't seen him play. So let's be real here. Look, there are no T-Wolves fans outside of Minnesota. Now, if you say you're a Warriors fan on the East Coast, you're lying. Because chances are, if you're a working guy, you're in bed by 10:30 p.m. And that's when the Warriors game is on TV. If you're lucky enough to have like an NBA League Pass or a channel that's showing the Warriors, I believe, such as NBC Sports, like the Bay Area. And, so a lot of people might not have seen Wiggins, and they'll say, well, he's got to be the problem with the Warriors, right? I mean, what could be wrong? Look, I don't think that Wiggins has failed in Golden State, and here's why. Here's my opinion. Look, Wiggins is giving what he's always gave, close to 20 points a game, and that's it. You are what you are in this league. Now, he's averaging 18 points a game, 4 boards, 2 assists, and he's shooting 47% from the field. Now, for his career, he's averaged 19 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 44% from the field. So he's shooting 3 points better percentage-wise from the field. Now, look, after Steph Curry and Wiggins, just this season alone, it's nothing else in Golden State. Lune, however you pronounce his name, I don't know what he's been doing out there at the center position. Kent Bazemore, I thought that he was going to be a nice piece, especially at the wing. And Kent Bazemore pretty much has brought nothing to this Golden State team. And look, after those two, after Steph and Wiggins, you have Draymond Green, Kelly Oubre Jr., and a rookie in James Wiseman, who, to me, underperformed this season. I thought he was going to be better than what he's been advertised, but it is what it is, and he's a rookie, and I understand it, and maybe he hit a rookie wall. That does happen. Now, look, the guys I just mentioned are pieces, though, including Wiggins. Now, you get Klay Thompson back, and that's assuming he's old Klay. And I think the Warriors can be dangerous in the West again. There's the whistle. Apparently, I talked a little too long. I stayed on the monologue too long with Mortal Kombat. And there is the whistle telling me, it's time to wrap it up, Mike. All right, so before I do that, look, the injury bug failed this team, and not Wiggins. In the NBA, you need 2 stars and a third guy that can score. And the third guy, in my opinion, is Andrew Wiggins, missing Klay Thompson as the second guy. So, look, what are your thoughts? Has Wiggins failed the Golden State Warriors? Is it something else? Look, let me know down in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation about it. And let me know who the true Warrior fans are, not these fake Warrior fans who only show up when they're winning. I want to know the Warrior fans who were fans when Chris Mullins played there. Alright, guys, let's turn it over to this day in sports. May 6th, this day in sports history of 1984, Baltimore Orioles, Cal Ripken hits for the cycle. Again, boys and girls, that's a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. Hey, look, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor. Follow the podcast. If you're on the YouTube side of things, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to the social media links in the description box to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.